Give a listen to this. This unfolded yesterday at the Utah State Capitol building. The Women's March in Salt Lake City that had been preceded with the Women's March in Park City on Saturday and marches throughout the country, including Washington, D.C. and around the world on Saturday. And anyway, that's what unfolded yesterday afternoon here in the state of Utah. I was noticing on Facebook, actually my representative in the state of Utah right now is Carol Spackman Moss, but before Dee and I moved last year, it was Patrice Arent, and I've known Patrice for many, many years, going clear back to her time in the Attorney General's office under Paul Van Dam, and I noticed her posting of this and the pictures that she had on Facebook, and she said in her years on Capitol Hill, and that's been some time, this is the biggest demonstration she had ever seen. I mentioned earlier we got a text message, and someone said, hey, I'm really enjoying the topic, and I'm really concerned about campaign funding reform, but I hope you'll spend some time and talk about the Women's March yesterday, and that's what we are here to do right now. And I'm very pleased that Kat Palmer could join us, a Salt Lake City photographer. We've actually tapped into Kat's expertise and her presence at various events over the years. She was at the Women's March to the Utah State Capitol. And Kat, welcome to the program. It's good to have you back.
Hey, Doug. Thanks for having me back. And I must say, you are lucky to have Carol as your representative. She's one of my favorites.
Isn't she fabulous? Actually, with all of the back and forth and the redistricting in our area, I've had both Patrice, I've had both Carol over the years. But right now, we happen to have Carol Spackman Moss, and you're right. You
are lucky. I'm stuck with Todd Weiler. So.
What are you saying, Kat? Hey, let's talk about the Women's March yesterday. And from your perspective, why were you there and what did you see?
I was overwhelmed with what I saw. I mean, we had over 10,000 people there, and the Utah Women Unite is who organized this. And we didn't know what to expect. I mean, we've had a lot of snow. It's hard to get up to the Capitol when it's really snowy. And we thought, you know, the rumor mills around just activists that there might only be 500 people there yesterday, and there was over 10,000. And I will tell you, being an activist in this community for over 10 years, we broke records yesterday. There has never been a rally of that size at the Capitol ever.
I have to admit, I was impressed at every level. When we were back in Washington, D.C., my producer and myself and Mark Juke, you know, we would run into these women in little groups here and there. We'd be down in the metro, would see 4 or 5 of them. I interviewed some. There'd be a couple over here. And so I thought, well, I don't know. Is this going to be a big deal or not? And holy cow, was it a big deal.
Yeah. It really was. And the thing is those photos, no matter what photo you see or anybody listening sees, does not do justice because the entire Capitol was full on every level, plus people all the way down the steps, all the way to the streets, including the entire Capitol being full. So there was no way to actually get a photo of everybody.
Yeah, you know, I spoke at an education funding rally about 2 years ago up at the Capitol in the Rotunda, and I was impressed by that crowd at that time. Every picture I have seen, just this overshadows even that, that was the biggest demonstration I'd ever seen in the Capitol.
Yeah, and it was very intersectional. I want to just add, you had everybody there. You had transgender community, you had people of color, you had different LGBTQ. It was a very intersectional group yesterday. You had men there. I mean, children. Everybody was there.
We're talking with Kat Palmer, and we have chatted with her before. She, because of her role as a photographer and also activist, we tend to find her in interesting spots and are not shy at all about, basically capitalizing on her presence. When you looked at what was unfolding yesterday, what were the goals, and how will you know if locally you were successful and nationally you were successful?
Well, I think, this next little bit, we have an uphill battle on every front. But if we are successful, Planned Parenthood will still have funding. LGBTQ rights will still be in place. Roe versus Wade will not be overturned. But I feel like right now we are already winning because this has already been the largest solidarity thing. I mean, think about it. Think about decades and decades. When have you seen this amount of solidarity happening on such a front? And if anything, this administration right now is inspiring the complacent people to get out and come together and rise up. And I feel that we are already winning because we're seeing this, because we're seeing people finally care. And maybe this is what it took to get people to finally care. But there's really easy ways for people to get involved here on a local level and follow the bills and to get updates, because marching's great, wearing pink hats is great, but unless you're actually actively involved with your legislature and know your legislator, it's a little bit harder to get things done, right?
You know, it's interesting.
It's important to...
We're going to be talking with Bart Myers, who is the CEO of Countable. It's a brand new app out there that enables people to stay right in touch with some of the big issues that are unfolding, how to contact your local legislature. And I was reading a thing the other day, Kat, that said, you know, here are some of the ways you can become involved. And guess what? One of the very first things listed was know who your legislators are. Isn't that incredible? How many people don't I mean, I'm not even talking down locally. I'm talking they don't even know who represents them in the Congress of the United States.
Right, and it's very easy to find out, and we actually have an award-winning website here in Utah. I mean, our website is designed for people to easily find information, and I love the League of Women Voters website. It's lwvutah.gov. You can go on there, just click buttons. You can follow bills. I mean, they keep you updated. And with the Utah Women Unite, you can text Unite to their phone number, which I can give you, and they will also keep you informed. I mean, there are ways for you to be informed, even if you're a busy person. You know, there's ways. This morning, I spent 15 minutes this morning writing to my legislatures and writing to my reps and writing to people on committees, because we only have 43 days left in this legislative session, and it's going to go by fast. And unless you're paying attention, it comes and goes. And when it comes to making laws, your silence is consent. If the lawmakers are not hearing from you, they think you're okay with it.
It's amazing how many times I'll hear somebody just going on a tirade, and I'll go, "Who's your Utah State Legislature?"
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they'll just glaze over. And I go, so you not only have you not contacted them, you don't know who they are. I'm almost out of time here, Kat. Tell us that number so people can get in touch and get hooked up here.
Yeah, so what you want to do is you're going to text the word UNITE to 801-396-8778. That's 396-8778. And the Utah Women Unite have set that up so that you can stay involved. And same with the League of Women Voters. It's really easy to just get updates and know what's going on. But today is the first day of action. They are wanting to do a one-party system for all the committees and the groups that they have up there. And that's not okay. That's unconstitutional to have a one-party system. So today is the first day of action of contacting your legislator and saying, we need to have the non-majority party to sit on these committees. It can't be all one party on these committees. So
Kat,
that's the first thing today.
I appreciate your enthusiasm. I appreciate you being so anxiously engaged. And let's chat throughout the legislative session, okay?
Oh, I would love that, Doug. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Kat Palmer with us. And in her role as a photographer and also, as you can tell, an activist, she often is in interesting places and can give us an interesting perspective. 1047 here at KSL News Radio. I'm so pleased. In our next segment yesterday, I got the text, as many of you probably did too, that the Utah Jazz and Vivint Arena ownership has been transferred to a perpetual legacy trust. We will be joined by Brian Miller and Greg Miller, joining us in our next segment. After all, I am Utah's Mr. Sports, and we're going to talk to them about the future of the Utah Jazz. That's all here on today's Doug Wright Show.